Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had some technical difficulties there. Alright. So I'm going to get this calculus live feed going. Okay, here we go. So today what we're going to look at are summations, but how to do them with the formula. So we learned last week how to do them by hand. Hold on, there we go. There's my eraser. So that was something like if I had the summation of like I equals 1 all the way to 6 of like 3I plus 1. I'd take 1, I'd plug it into here. All right, 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1, that's 4. Plug in 2, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, that'd be 7. All right, plug in the next number 3, which would be 10. Plug in the next number 4, which would be 13. Plug in the next number 5, which would be 16. And plug in the last number 6, which would be 19. And I would add them all up. Okay, I don't know what that'd be. Let's see, that's 20, 30, plus another 50. Oh, nice. 69. Didn't mean to do that, but oh well. Here we go. So what we're going to learn today is like how do we do this like long way, because that's pretty easy to do, like from 1 to 6, but what if I made this from 1 to 60? Still something we could technically do by hand, but that's going to take a lot of space. So if we can learn a formula, it's going to make it a lot quicker. So what there are a couple equations. Don't worry, you don't need to prove them, but they're all right here. So they're listed at the start of the CYU, not CYU, the quiz that you guys will take. And so they're right here. So basically, this first one here is like if we have a number. So if I just have I to some number, it's going to be that number times our n. The one thing about these formulas is that every single time n is 1, or I equals 1. There's a way to do it when I is not 1. We'd have to shift the equation, but we don't have to worry about that. We're not going over it because I'll show you another trick. Okay, so if we ever have an I in the equation, we're going to replace that to an n times n plus 1 over 2. If an I squared, we'll change that to an n times n plus 1 times a 2n plus 1 over 6. And then I cubed would be an n squared over n plus 1 squared over 4. We won't do anything where i's to the 4th power or anything like that. So if we go back to this example here, if we have a constant multiply, don't worry about it. We're just going to multiply our problem. So if we break down this problem, there's two things. There's the I, and there's also a number. So if we look at the I first, I'm going to put the constant out in front. If we have the summation of I, it's going to be n times n plus 1 over 2. So I'm going to change that to an n times n plus 1 over 2. And then plus 1, which 1 is a constant number. So I'm going to take that constant number and times it by n. So that constant number is 1 times n. So now what we need to do is just go through and replace all n's with the 6. So this would be 3 times 6 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 times 6. Okay, so let's go through this real quick, or try to. All right, so this would be 6 times 7, which is what? 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21. And then we can times that by 3. 21 times 3 is 63. Plus 1 times 6. Oh, moving here. 1 times 6 is 6. Add them together. Nice. We got the answer. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you guys, I'll just kind of go through the homework, what you guys need help with, and should be able to get the answers. Okay, so first question is, what's the summation from I equals 1 to 30 of negative 18? So negative 18 is a constant number. So we're going to use this one here. we're just going to take that constant number and times it by n. So the constant number is negative 18. We're going to times it by our n number, 30. Type that into the calculator. All right, negative 18 times 30, negative 540. There you go. Okay. Next one here. All right, we got the summation of 5i minus 4. Starting with 1 to 16 of 5i minus 4. Okay. So kind of like the one problem we did. So first we got the 5i. So I is n over n plus 1, or n times n plus 1 over 2. So we got 5 of 16 times 16 plus 1 over 2. Then minus 4. 4 is a constant number. So we're going to take that 4 and times it by n. Okay. So let's go through this. I'm going to kind of type this one in the calculator because I don't feel like doing that in my head right now. All right, we got 16 times 17. And we'll divide that by 2. And we're going to times that by 5. So we got 680 for the first part here. And then minus 4 times 16 is what? 64. Double checking that. Yep. And then subtract them. All right, 680 minus 64, 616. Oh, you're just shouting out the answers, Mallory. Sorry. Good. I didn't notice that. I got to check the live feed more often. Perfect. Okay. Just scrolling through them all until we get to, I know, the tough one down there. Oh, man, you guys got a bunch of questions. Actually, no, it's not too many questions. All right. Next one, we got I squared minus 1. And I squared minus 1. And we're going from 1 to 10. Alrighty, so I squared, let's see, is n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 over 6. Alrighty, so, and it's just I squared, so it's just going to be n, which is 10, times n plus 1, which is an 11, times 2n plus 1, which would be 21, over 6, and then minus 1, which is a constant number. Yeah, you can use multiple formulas for the question, yeah. And so, yeah, you got to break it down like that. I'll actually show you after the next one how we can actually do this a little easier if you have a calculator. 1's the constant, so we'll do minus 1 times the n. Okay. So we just break them down. All right, so 10 times 11 times 21 divided by 6. First number is 385. And then minus 10. So 375. Okay. The very next one. All right, we got I cubed minus 2i. I cubed minus 2i. And we're going from 1 to 25. All right, yep. 375 on the last one. Okay, so we got I cubed, which will be n squared times n plus 1 squared over 4. So that's going to be 25 squared times 26 squared over 4 minus 2. And then I is n times n plus 1 over 2. So 25 times 26 divided by 2. All right, so let's start with 25 times 26 squared divided by 4. This should be a very large number. 25 squared times 26 squared divided by 4. All right, 105,625. And then minus 25 times 26 divide. Oh, we'll just do 25 times 26, which is 650. Because if we divide by 2 and then times by 2, they cancel out. So then we need to subtract those two answers. So 1005, 625 minus 650, 104, 975. Just type that in without a comma on Canvas, because a comma acts like a decimal point. So yeah, don't put 104,000 comma 975. Just put it just like that, like a combination code or something. Okay, how do we make our lives easier? If you have a calculator, you can actually do this a whole lot easier, and I'll show you right here. I'll try to hold it like this. Okay, so if you guys haven't checked, if you don't have a calculator, but if you have a home computer, on Canvas I did put a link. Texas Instruments just announced last week that they're giving all their emulator software for free because of everything going on. So if you have a home computer, you can download that software for free. Just there's a link on the Canvas page. You can do this. So there is a button here. If we type in math, I think it's math. Go through. I'll go scroll down. Ooh, right here at 0. Look at that. Summation E squiggly. We'll press enter here. And you can see what pops up. Now we can't type in I as a variable, but X works just as fine from 1 to 25, and we can type in the equation X cubed minus 2X and press enter. That's the same answer we got. So once again, that button is math. We can go down to summation and type in, X, pick any number here. We can actually do it without the formula. So if I want to go from 5 to 10 of 2x plus 4, just type in the equation, press enter. It does the work for us. So that's cool. So that's math 0 if you have this type of calculator. Can you use the calc for 2 different variables? So the calculator you can't do for 2 different variables, but if you read the questions, I'm going to explain that next. So on the next questions here, they say we're going to go write the summation, and this I'll just write the equation. It is from j equals 1 all the way up to n, and that'd be 7j plus 4 over n squared. So what they want you to do here is go through this scenario, and let's see what the answer is when n equals 10. What would be the answer when n equals 100? Or n equals, let's see, going through 1,000 and 10,000. So what you're supposed to do is, okay, we're going to take this equation here, since we have 2 variables. I'm going to first replace n with 10 and see what I get. So if I change this problem to from 1 to 10 of this equation over 10 squared, we can figure this out. And in fact, if we want to use a calculator, we can do that. So I'm going to do math 0 to get the summation. X is equal to 1, and n I'm going to change to a 10, and I'm going to make this equation as, okay, so 7x plus 4 divided by, and then I'm going to do this here in a 10 squared. Actually, do it like that. Close this whole thing. Is that right? Yeah. Oh, I got an error. I think I typed that in wrong. All right. So let's see. It doesn't. I have an extra set of parentheses right here. There we go. All right, so I type it in and I get 4.25. So all it did this problem here. It made this like 7i plus 4 over 100. And it did the equations over here to figure it out. So when n equals 10, we get 4.25. Okay, so next thing they want you to do is, okay, well, let's make this not 10. Let's make n equal to 100. So I'll change that to 100, make that 100. Well, what's great about the calculator is that we can go through, second quit. If I press the second button and then press enter, it types in everything I just typed in. And I'm just going to go through and edit and make the summation go from 10 to 100. Oop. It's hard to see when I'm looking through the screen here. Oh, actually. There we go. Top number is 100. And then I'm going to go, okay, second insert. I'm going to insert a 0 there. Make that 100 and just press enter. All right, 3.575. All right, so the next thing, okay, we're going to make that 1,000. So I'm press second, enter. Okay, I'm going to go over. I'm going to look at the calculator this time and not through the camera. I'm going to insert a 0 there to make that 1,000. And then I'm going to make this second insert here, put in another 0, make that 1,000. And press enter. Now it's going to take a calculator a long time because the calculator actually goes through and it adds them all up. It writes them all down and adds them up. Okay, so 3.5075. And I believe on Canvas you have to type in 4 decimal places. Yeah. Okay, and then the next one we got to go up to 10,000. So this will take quite a while for the calculator to do. So second, enter to get that equation back. I'm going to change this to a 10,000. And change second insert, change that to a 10,000. Press enter. And it's adding all 10,000 of them together. Figures out 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. We might be able to do the formula quicker than this. Let's see. It'd be 7i. So that'd be 10,000 times 10,001 divided by 2. Times that by 7. So what's that? 5,000 times 10,001 divided by 2 times 7. 35,000 times 10,001. And then plus 40,000. And then we'll divide everything by 10,000 squared. Oh, this is taking a while. Maybe I'll do that by hand while this works. I'll leave this over here for a second. Oh, I need another calculator. Let's see, if we were going to do this by hand, I'd have to change this 7. That's not even a 7. Times 10,000 times 10,001 over 2 plus 4 times 10,000 over 10,000 squared. Oh, there it goes. Finally popped in. 3.50075. So 3.500, and if we were going to round, 8. What you guys can see here is what we would normally do in class. Is there a certain way we must list the answers on Canvas? So on Canvas, I'll just pull the computer up here, is each one of those answers is its own separate question. Oh, you guys can't see that. So I'll try to put that up there. You can see here. Okay, first question is, what if n equals 10? That's question 5. Then question 6 is, what if n equals 100? And then question 7 is like, okay, n equals 1,000. Question 8, all right, n equals 10,000. So you put all 4 of those in as 4 different questions. Does that help answer that, Mallory? Okay. I'll go through the last one then, just so we have a full video of all the answers. And then you guys can just tell other people to watch it. Or you can watch it again. But okay, here we go. Last question, which there's 4 of them, but they all work together. So same type of thing going on here. We got the summation I equals 1, and we're going to n. Okay, and it's going to be 2i cubed minus 3i over n to the 4th. Yep. Okay, so here we go. So first thing we're going to do is make n equals 10. So I've got a couple new people joining us. The trick to this, we can use these formulas that are all right here. Or if you're watching this live stream, there's the way we can do it on the calculator. Okay, so what we can do on the calculator is press math and scroll down, or if we press 0, there's the summation. And we can type that equation in. So we got to replace i's with x's. So it'd be x, let's see, x equals 1. And if we're first doing n equals 10, we're going to make our top number 10. And then our equation is, you know what, isn't there a math? Well, I'm just going to, okay. In the top, 2x cubed minus 3x. I'll close that parenthesis and divide by, other parenthesis would be n to the 4th. Remember, n in this case is 10. So 10 to the 4th power. I'm going to close that parenthesis. There we go. So the calculator will type in all those numbers from 1 to 10 and add them up together. We get 0.5885. Alrighty. The next problem, they want you to do the same equation, but okay, now make n equal to 100. And we'll do the next problem after that is 1,000 and 10,000 after that. Okay, so remember to type in an answer again. We press second enter. We get that equation back up. But I'm going to go over here, change that top number to 100. And then change this bottom number to 100 to the 4th power. And I'll just press enter. It types in all 100 into the equations, add them up. And so we're going to round to the 4th decimal place, so that'd be 0.5099. Okay, next we'll go to 1,000. So we'll go over here, we'll change that top number to 1,000. Change this bottom number here, second insert 0 to 1,000. Press enter. And it will type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 1,000. Add all those answers. It takes a minute. There we go. So this one would be 0.5010 if we round. Alrighty, and then last one we got to do is 10,000. I'm going to type this in and I'll answer any questions you guys have while we wait for this thing to do all 10,000 answers and add them up together. So 10,000. We probably can take a guess what it's going to be. So, do you guys have any questions while we wait? I'm not going to try to do that one in my head. That would be, what, 10,000 squared times 10,001 squared divided by 4 times 2 minus 3 times 10,000 times 10,000. Oh, man. Big number. how do you do number 4 on the quiz? So number 4, geez, Dom, you could go back and watch this video now. Number 4 is, I'll do it long ways here. I'll get another whiteboard out. I cubed minus 2i. And how far are we going to? 25. Okay. So what we got to do first is to use the I cubed, which is n squared times n plus 1 squared over 4. So n is 25, so n squared, which would be 25 squared, times n plus 1, which is 26 squared, over 4. So that's that part there. Then minus 2i. I formula is n times n plus 1 over 2. So 25 times 26 over 2. All right. Still waiting on this bad boy, so I got to try to do this by hand here. You're killing me, Dom. All right. So here, I'll do this easy. Oh, you guys can't see that. So 25 times 26 over 2. So this part here, the 2's are going to cancel each other out. 25 times 26. Let's see, 26 divided by 4 is, what, 6.5? Is that 650? Oh, that other answer ended. And then, okay, if we could go back to this one here. There we go. So that's 0.5001 if we round. So when it's 10,000.5001. Going back to this one here to finish this problem up. We'll do 25 squared times 26 squared. And we'll divide that by 4. So 105,625. Then we got to subtract 650. And there's our answer, 104,975. Now the one thing on Canvas, don't put it in a comma, because it treats a comma like a decimal point. In other countries, they use commas as decimal points. So the computer sees that. Okay. Now this was a long session. This by far be the longest one of the week. But any other questions, guys? Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you guys have the answers, and I'm going to post this on my story, and I'll post it on Canvas and YouTube. So if you have any other questions, like on the homework quiz, you guys can watch that later. Thanks for joining. Have a good one. One more week to go.